Start the stream. All right. It says I'm good. Make sure we're good here. Excellent. What's up, creepers and geekers? Christy, Atari Creep. How is everyone doing today? I am going to hold on one moment, because I can never fucking be ready. You know, I'm the one who hits go on these things. I'm never ready for it. No, what I'm doing is I'm actually opening up a tab so I can see the chat, because my setup isn't as rad as everybody's. I don't have 50 screens all around me. I don't have technology. I don't have the technology, so I can't build. So, wait to see if we get a few people in here, and we'll start talking about it. We'll start talking about the things that weigh heavy on my mind right now, that are weighing heavy on my mind. So, until we get to that, here, look. My own custom lightsaber. I designed this. Well, okay, I didn't design this. I had a couple of failed Ben Solo prints. And I thought, how cool would it be to put Vader's emitter shroud on there, and then make my own pommel, which I did, using Kylo Ren's actual flat piece. And then I made this like little, I guess you could consider it like a sync knob style thing. So I gave it a little bit of new, a little bit of old, and I call it Grandpa's Tribute, or a tribute to Grandpa. I don't know. It is what it is. So I hope everyone's doing well this Wednesday. One thing before we do start talking, I want to show you a picture. I suppose I could have put the picture on here, but this picture here has been floating around the internet for the past 2 days. Okay? It is a Robotron and a Tron arcade cabinet in some dickhead's backyard. Hey, what's up, Videodrome? Good morning to you. Good morning to you, and thanks for popping in. Rotting away in some dickhead's backyard, and I just want to tell everyone, I'm seeing it, all right? I'm seeing it, and every time I see it, told you I'm never ready. Told you. And every time I see it, it makes me weep a little bit. So stop sharing it to me. Stop tagging me in it. Okay? I'm fucking seeing it. I'm seeing it. I'm fucking sad about it. Really sad. But no, in all seriousness, I hope everyone's having a great Wednesday. I hope this week is going well for you. It's kind of an odd week for me because we were on school break last week. And back to everything's normal this week, which actually isn't true. Traffic where I work has been extremely crazy. I work like in the street and stuff. I do crossing guard work as part of my duties. And though the street I work on is primarily, it's normally a main thoroughfare through the town. It's one of the only arteries in and out of the town. It used to be real dangerous and busy as fuck, but it was dead for, a while. It was great, actually. It was really nice having, like, nothing. And now all of a sudden everyone's starting to get back in the rigmarole. Everyone's getting their shots. I'm feeling pretty confident in life. Everyone's back at school. And things are back in full swing, so. And I think what's going on is people just don't. Turbo Joe, I'm actually making this video because of you, brother. We're going to get to that here in a minute. We're going to get to. Actually, not because of you, but because of that fucking rad possum on your channel that should be taking your channel over. That guy's awesome. You're a good dude too, but fuck it, man. The possum rules. The possum rules. But everyone's back, and I think what it is people forgot, I guess, how to be, congested and too busy to give a shit about what's going on around you. So people have been all fucked up on the road, and it's like, I'm just trying to get kids across this busy street real safe, and nobody likes me. Actually, that's not true. The years before, people would, like, no lie, tell me to go fuck myself. They would throw things at me, and they would hit me with their car and stuff. I've been hit. I can't tell you how many times I've been hit. I've been hit. But this year, people have just been like, hey, hi, it's nice to see you, but we had a bus that jammed up the intersection, up the street from me, so no cars moved, so it was pretty safe for me, but yeah, so we're going to talk about that, what the fuck is it called? The Pie Packer. What the fuck kind of name is that? Pie Packer. I knew nothing about this. Guys, I tell you all the time. I don't keep my ear to the ground. But I saw a rad video over at Turbo Joe's channel. He's got this little fucking rodent that comes up and speaks to truth. That guy's Truthus Maximus Vevictus Humungus, okay? And if you know what that reference is, Vevictus. Vevictus! I'll give you a cookie or something. But the little fucking thing was talking about this thing called the Pie Packer. And I really thought it was just one of Joe's funny things because Joe's a funny prick for being a New Yorker, you know. I can't hold that against him. All right, it's where he was born and raised. He didn't have a choice in that. But all seriousness, they were talking about it, and I honestly thought it was a fucking joke. I thought it was a fucking joke just by the name alone. And then OEB Pete had a live stream, or maybe it was the opposite way around. I don't know. And they were talking about it, and of course they were calling it the Fudge Packer and all that stuff, which is insensitive, so stop. And so I looked into it. Like for this long, and I need some help understanding it. Because it sounds like something that me and my buddies have talked about, especially Mr. Paku Paku and myself, have talked about over the years. It's kind of like, when you're a teenager and you're learning how to smoke, and you're like, oh, I wish they had a never-ending cigarette, E-cigs now. That kind of thing. But we would constantly be like, dude, you're in Arizona and I'm in Boston. I wish we could fucking sit down and play Contra again or do it online. Now, the first thing I want to ask you is there a way to do that without this Pie Packer? Because it's claiming that it's the first of its kind. I know there are online gameplay and all this stuff, but I'm talking about like our games. And we're going to get to the cartridge machine here in a few minutes. But if there's a way to do that kind of thing, I would be interested to know about it because, again, I'm an idiot when it comes to keeping my ear to the ground, and I have no problem admitting that. Because it's the fucking truth. What can you do? But I saw this, and I'm hearing the claims and all that, and I have the page. I have the page up. We'll look at it here in a minute, the Kickstarter. And the idea of this is nothing new. I know that for a fact. Let's see. Videodrome says, I work a lot of people's homes, and I find it hilarious that they have to scream out to me that they... So it's strange. It is strange, dude. It is strange, but it is what it is, right? I've been vaccinated. Now I got a fucking lump in my neck that I literally just had my doctor look at, and he says, you know what? Go home. You'll be fine. I'll be dead tomorrow, so we'll do that. It's a great feeling to be fully vaccinated. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Take the steps and being liberated from... Yeah, you know what? I'm more worried about the vaccination than I am about not being vaccinated. I voluntarily did it for the sake of if it does help ease all this stuff, of course I'm going to do it. But I'm a realistic guy, and I know that certain things can't really be arisen that quickly. And in the next 15 to 20 years, it'll be telling to see what happens, and hopefully we'll be fine. Hopefully we'll all be fine. But if not, God be with us all. It is what it is, and you got to do what you got to do. And if I made the wrong choice, I made the wrong choice. If I made the right one, 2 thumbs up. You know what I mean? Or maybe 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down. All feedback to the Creep is positive. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm just kidding. So going back to my conversation here, I've been stabbed with worse. I have been too. Rusty fucking shanks have been up people's keisters. Can't tell you how many tetanus shots and fucking IVs I've had to have because I've broken up a fight between 2 fucking inmates who I should have just stabbed themselves to death. Trying to save a life, and I got a fucking a knife in the side of my shoulder or something like that. Or I got my leg sliced open once, running over to assist somebody, and the guy's on the ground, already restrained, but one of his arms is flailing with his fucking shank. It was literally a piece of sheet metal that he used on the ground to sharpen it up even more, and it just took my leg whoosh, and opened it right up. My leg said, hello! Bled everywhere. I bled all over him. Fuck him. Put my knee right down on the back of his fucking legs. Clinked him up. I fucking bled all over him. It was just like, ha ha ha. You better hope I have no pathogens of the bloodborne variety. But we're not here to talk about bloodborne pathogens. We're not here to talk about prison stories. We're here to talk about playing games with your friends online, which is not a new concept, but to me, I think this is, fairly new. So, it's my understanding that it's going to be an online service, okay? And that's cool. And it has its own, like a streaming service, like Netflix or something like that, that you can interact with your friends. And you get the little chat bubbles, and you can put stupid fucking things in front of your face. But let's do this. Let me get to the nitty gritty here, and let me see if I can't find where I hid that. Again, I don't have two screens, so I have to compress everything on the one screen and kind of move it around. So here we are with the Pi Packer. And again, all this is probably nothing new to you. And I'll watch this video here in a second. But what interests me more is this hardware. But the only thing about this that's really bugging me is that if you don't jump in on it here, it's not going to be available anywhere else. I believe that's how I understood this thing to be. So I'm actually, you know what, I'll turn one of these mics up a little bit. I apologize if the volumes are all fucked up. I didn't really anticipate watching this video live here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Turn this down. I'm going to tell you, this is fucking cheesy. Look at these guys. He's like, woo. You know what they should have done? They should have got some people playing real fucking games and not acting. Awesome retro games. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Earthworld Jim, all this crap. That looks badass. That is a great game. Oh my god. This right here is what I'm interested in. Not the fucking streaming service. I don't care about that. Because apparently it's limited in what you can play. But with this little piece of hardware, supposedly you'll have modules that you can plug into the top to adapt whatever cartridge you have. And their biggest claim is that if you have a controller that'll fit into the USB thing, it'll work. Or I believe Bluetooth. If you have a controller, it's compatible. I don't know. I read a little bit of this beforehand. I actually prepared. Do you really want to look like a penis with a fucking military helmet on? A brain bucket? You look like you're storming the beaches of Normandy looking like a prick. But, alright, that's enough of this stuff. So I watched all this. We're not going to talk too much about it. Let me turn this off because that's going to confuse everybody. I hope that didn't really echo like that. Holy shit, I feel like an asshole now. So they're talking about they need to get $145,000, which it looks like, hold on, where are they at? They're almost there. Wow. It's getting pretty close. So they're showing their achievements. And I looked at their price tiers here. Hopefully I didn't pass it. We're not going to watch any more videos. I'm sure if you know about this, you've already seen what you want to see. So, basic services are free. The premium memberships are whatever they are a month. You can get masks. They're really hard on this mask stuff. They get a real fucking boner for that. I mean, is that really that popular these days, putting stupid cartoons over your face? If it is, I apologize if I'm offending any young people, but you shouldn't be watching this anyway. You should be in fucking school, so fuck off. I don't care about your delicate sensibilities about 3D masks. Let's keep going. The skull one's pretty goofy, but I'm telling you, man. That penis with the military helmet. Alright, so you get a digital pass for $40. So that's early access to peckerhead.com, Pi Pecker. Packer. You get 7 3D masks, okay. You get a badge. And 6 months of premium membership for free, I guess. So you move down here, and you get a full digital pass for $100, and that's lifetime. But this is where I'm more interested in. The Pi Reader, for $100 you get the machine, I guess, and you get all this basic stuff down below. $180 you get the whole kit and caboodle. $290, I didn't go this far. You get a bubble on it. I think this is the one that OEB Pete got. $290. I don't know if this is $290 worth of worth of stuff. So the machine itself is what I'm really interested in. Because in the past, again, going back to, I'll just, I'm going to leave it right here because that's a little more realistic. I think it's a little pricey for what it is, but hold on. Let me move a few things around here so I can see what the chat's doing. Jesus Christ, it's all Turbo Joe all day, all night. Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about that plenty of times, saying, "Hey, we would love to be able to play together and all this stuff." And you could do that with other games. I had my very first online play experience this weekend. I played Mario Kart 8 on a whim with Linda the Gamer Girl, and I think Nintendo was there, and a whole bunch of other really rad cats. I was watching Linda's stream, and she's like, "Hey, log on," and I didn't know how to do it, but I figured it out. I was pretty fucking proud of myself. And I played a couple of circuits of Mario Kart 8 online with peoples while chitter-chatting with them here online and all that stuff. And it was fun. But I would really like to do something like that with, like, my catalog back here. I don't have that much anymore, but like they were showing, you could put your Genesis cart in there or whatever. I didn't read into it, but hey, Jerome, what's going on, bud? Let's see, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch already does this. Now, when you say already does this, I mean, I know you have online play. Are you talking about, like, I can find a way to play? We'll just stick with Contra. I could play Contra with you right now if I had it on my machine. That's what I'm talking about. When it comes to technology, mixing new with the old, I'm a fucking idiot. I'll admit it. And that's why I'm doing this. So people can educate me and get me all learned up on the happens of what's going on. But I'm more concerned that this machine is not going to be available past this Kickstarter program. And I would buy the $100 package for right now, but I kind of, I got a couple of girls' 13th birthdays coming up. I have a Disney trip coming up. I have the Amico coming up. I have Mother's Day coming up, and I have my girlfriend's birthday coming up. So I really don't have the expendable cash to just drop $100 on something like this right now. So it's like, if this is, I really wish, and I hope they watch a little of this. I hope this becomes something that, and I know it's going to be niche. I know it's going to be extremely niche, and to try to get this in mass production is not going to be a feasible thing. It really isn't. But I would like it to extend it out to anyone who would like it and just do like maybe periodic pre-orders like this. The first X amount, and then after a little bit, okay, we're going to open it up like people do with these minifigures, Me and my buddies are always making little minifigures, and we cast up a whole fuck ton of them, and then we put them out there. And if you get one, you get one. If you don't, oh well. But then you cast up another bunch a few months later or whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm going to have a surprise drop this weekend. I got another 25 pieces. It would be rad if they would do something like that, because once I get through all this crap I got to get through and, have the extra $100, I would drop it down on this. I don't need to buy the whole in package with the fucking bubble and all that stupid shit. I don't care about the stupid masks. I mean, look at it. Tell me that doesn't look like a penis with a World War II fucking brain bucket on it. I don't want to look like that. I want to look like, I don't know what I want to look at. I don't want to look like this either, but I guess I don't really have much of a choice unless I smash my face against a brick wall a few times. But in all fairness, this face has gotten me laid a lot, so it is what it is. It was either that or the ether. I don't know. But hey, Atari 2600 dude, thanks for coming by. Yeah, I just recently learned about it myself. So I don't know. Somebody educate me here. Can I play my own games? I mean, obviously not the full libraries like this thing's claiming to do. And I think that's what the allure is for me. But what systems are we going to be covering here? Obviously, there's going to be NES and SNES. There's definitely going to be Genesis because that's what they're focusing on right now. And I'm wondering if they don't have a deal with somebody because they have Earthworld Jim and they have Xenocrisis, I think it is. Such a great game. Um, so I wonder if they have something going on with Sega right now, or whomever. So they've been showing a lot of Sega love, which is awesome. But will we be able to do a Master System thing? If I have the Sega adapter, would I be able to put my Master System adapter on top of that and play that? I mean, that's going to be interesting stuff. They claim that any controller will work with it as long as it's either USB or Bluetooth. I don't know. I don't know how they claim all that. But are we going to, go into the realm of, like, say, Atari? I doubt that. I doubt that very much. It's not for me. Videodrome 1980. Well, it just says 80. Computers and I don't get along. And I already have every system I already hooked up. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. Because I believe this thing has to be hooked up to your computer. I believe it has to be hooked up to your computer. But I'm genuinely interested in its functionality. So I think what I am going to do is I'm obviously not going to buy one right now, but I'm going to see what happens in a very excited, anticipatory way to see what happens. Because once this technology drops, at first I sit there and say to myself, do we really need another fucking retro machine like this? But then when you hear about what it's going to do, I'm fucking Hyperkin and all that crap. I'm so sick and tired of it. I really am. I'm genuinely sick and tired of it. Come up with something new and cool. Just fucking go away, I mean, still sell your little machines, but I talk about opening up a hot dog shop called the Digital Dog. And hey, Linda, what's going on? We were talking about our Mario Kart 8 experience on your channel this weekend, and how that was my first online experience, and how I had a great time. And again, thank you for inviting me to do that. That was good. You broke my cherry on that one. You should be proud of yourself. You should be fucking proud. But once this technology becomes its own thing and it proves that people are interested, I'm sure it will expand, whether it be with this company or not. But going back to what I was going to say about Hyperkin and hot dogs, believe it or not, there is a connection. I was actually thinking about getting a couple of little Retron things and putting them on the tables with like a little TV, or maybe have them behind an acrylic box. Just the game of the day is going to be, say I have Retron 77s, Pac-Man will be the game of the day. Something like that, for guests to play games while they're eating their fucking hot dogs. I just don't have the capital for something like that. And it's pretty expensive to open a shop like that around here. And it's literally just going to be hot dogs, potato chips, video games. No joke. Nothing else. No fucking burgers. I'm not even going to have a fryer. No grills, no fryers. There's going to be a big steam table. You're going to have hot dogs, buns, toppings, video games, and fuck all. Get out of here if you don't like it. And people will come in and be like, I want vegan options. Well, then go next door. I used to get that all the time when I had a sandwich / hot dog shop. I bought into one years ago. I'm not going to say the name of it or anything, but we were very successful until the guy who actually started the whole thing kind of fucked a few things. I need to stop hitting this thing. I'm sorry. But people would come in all the time and be like, can you do like a more vegan thing? I'm like, no, look at my menu. Look at my menu. This isn't geared towards that, and I'm not going to add one little thing to, because even if you were a vegan, chances are you're going to make fun of the people who are eating a hot dog anyway. So do they really want to dine with that? I know I don't, but nothing against vegans. I mean, I got no fucking problem with that at all. I don't give a shit. I just can't trust someone who can't enjoy a hot dog. That's all, unless you don't like it. But, I don't even know where I was going. Oh, yeah, the Retrons and all that. I was going to get a couple of those, and they're good for that. They're good for that. But then when I thought about this, and I was like, okay, so it's not just another, like, Retron situation. This is, like, a legit new thing. And I started coming on board. Oh, thanks, Linda. Glad to race with you. I'm glad. I'm happy to hear that. And it's funny, Linda. I play with the girls all the time in their accounts. So all their shit is built up, and I have this really nice setup. For some reason, because I don't use my account to race, I don't have all the cool stuff. So I had a crack a lack. I was lacking. I was 4th place at best. That's okay. I had a lot of fun with it. Let's see, what's Turbo Joe saying? It could be good retro stream machine for YouTube. You know what? Think about it. So, Joe, you and I are playing Contra. And you stream it on your channel and I stream it on my channel. So we're both playing Contra. Whoever's, whatever. That's another thing. Do we both have to? No. It should be one of those things where only one person has to do it and the other one can just jump in and play with you. How awesome is that? I want that. I want that to happen so bad. Maybe I will scrounge up the $100 to grab one of these. You know what? I'm not a fan of sauerkraut, Jerome. I am not. I am an enormous hot dog fan. All beef, natural casing, all the way. I love that snap. And the Chicago style hot dog is my favorite of all time. And luckily for me, when I lived in Arizona, there were a number of them. There was a place called the Chicago Hamburger Company in town. They basically, their main menu was sliders and Chicago dogs. That whenever I was on that side of town, I would obviously go there and eat. But there was one closer to me in this town called Glendale called, I keep wanting to call it Zips Dogs, but I can't remember it now. God damn it. But they were one of those cash-only joints, and they had a little tie to the Wizard of Oz, too. The name of the place will come to me. It's still there. It's on Glendale Avenue, a little bit west of, there's a Cabela's out there. There's a giant Cabela's, and it's just a little bit west from there. Dazzo's. It's called Dazzo's Dogs. And they did Italian beef, Chicago-style Italian beef, hot dogs, sliders, the whole 9 yards. And I would always go there and get a Chicago dog with everything. And I would also get a beef and sausage combo with both hot and sweet peppers, soaking wet. Oh my God. If you've never had a Chicago-style Italian beef sandwich, you're missing out. You are missing out. And the sandwich shop I was a part of was a Chicago-based joint. He basically mimicked a store called Portello's that's real popular in the Midwest in Chicago for the Arizona community. We were real popular. We had 2 locations, but then he opened up an Italian restaurant next door to his location, and they got nobody. And it kind of took everything down, and it sucked, but it is what it is. But going back, let's see. My dad moved to Arizona about 15 years ago. If you're comfortable, what part? First I was in this little shithole called Buckeye, literally in the middle of nowhere. But we moved there because the prison I worked at was out that way. And when I say the middle of nowhere, dude, I'm serious. It was the fucking middle of nowhere. It was just desert. Desert for miles and miles. But then I lived in Glendale. I lived in Phoenix for just, a little bit. And then I moved to the East Valley and lived in Chandler until I moved here, back to Boston. So Arizona was cool. Tucson. Okay, so that's real south. My buddy Mr. Paco's down that way. I'm not saying exactly where he is, but he's down by Tucson. Tucson's nice. There's an old Wild West film studio down there. And it's now like an attraction where you can go and hang out and everything. And they do have the steampunk conventions down there and stuff like that. Tucson's really nice. I love the Wild West. I love westerns, old and new. And it was really great to see all that movie history that I've watched every Sunday morning in black and white, and some in color, right there. And it's like I was in front of one building going, oh my God, I could think of 20 scenes I know that was in front of this building. It was really rad. I think it was called the Old Tucson Movie Studio or something to that effect. Or Western Ranch, or I don't know. But it was fucking rad. I loved going down there. How can you stand the heat? I didn't fucking hang out on roofs and run around in sweatpants in the heat. You know what, you adapt to it. You either adapt to it or you don't. This is how it would be for me. I would walk from an air-conditioned building into an air-conditioned car, and it would be hot. It'd be like opening the oven and a blast of heat in your face. And then you would drive to your destination, and you would go from your car to an air-conditioned building, hopefully, Now, in my profession, I worked prison yard, so I did have the heat. But I worked a lot of overnights. I got forced onto the overnights when I was younger. for being on too many incident reports. I was always ready to fucking mingle. I'll just say that. And one day, my unit supervisor came up to me and was like, "Hey, Call, you're a really great officer, but you're young, dumb, and full of cum, and you need to fucking chill out. So we're gonna put you on the overnights for a couple of weeks to calm you down, and then we'll see what happens when you come back. So maybe you can be on less incident reports." And sure as fuck, I found I was a natural with the overnights. I absolutely loved them. I adapted to it like that. My wife and children didn't quite adapt to it as well. Because, again, our house was in the middle of nowhere, Buckeye, Arizona. In this little area called Rainbow Valley. Acres between houses. Acres. And when I say acres, I mean a lot of them. And they were nervous, rightfully so, being out there, I'll be home. I wouldn't be home until early morning or afternoon if I took on another shift. But I adapted to the overnight like a fish to water. And any chance I got to stay on the overnights, because you think about it, most people go to work, right? I know there's going to be a bajillion exceptions. Shut up with your exceptions. But for the most part, people go to work, and they work for a handful of hours, and they get a 15-minute break or whatever, and they go have a puff or whatever it is they do. They go in the bathroom, they snap the bean. Then you work for a couple more hours, and you have a nice lunch break. A couple more hours, you have an afternoon break. And then you work another couple hours, and you go home. Now you have bosses breathing down your neck and all kinds of this and all kinds of that. Whereas when you work the overnight, you get there, and you work really hard for the first couple of hours. You're doing your rounds. You're making sure. See, I worked in a situation where, in Arizona anyway, where I didn't actually work in the housing units at first. I mean, I eventually did go into the housing units, but we were like an external police department for the facility. So you had your unit staff, and then we would go from pod to pod. And basically, if they had an issue that they couldn't handle, they called us in. And on top of all that, we would do patrols and just basically kick around, maybe get a work crew together, do that kind of stuff. But we were like, when I first started doing it, they were called ERTs, the Emergency Response Team. Then eventually they just started calling us security, which kind of degraded what we did. But no shade on anyone who works security, because God bless you. I wouldn't wish that job on my worst enemy. Being a security guard, it's noble work. It's honest work, but the lack of respect that comes along with being a security guard, especially in today's day and age, my hat goes off to each and every one of you. So please don't take me saying that as disrespectful to that profession, because that's its own deal all to itself, and I respect it 100%. But we would work for like an hour and a half. We would walk around making sure every cell door was secured, so the overnight staff who was by themselves was safe. And of course we would do like hourly checks. So we would do the perimeter, making sure the fence was good, and just all kinds of stuff. Then we would gather mail, outgoing mail from each. So we became basically gophers for a little while. And then once you got done with all that in the first hour and a half, it was like every hour we got up and just checked the room. I would go do these 2 pods. Jim would go do these 2 pods. The Sally would go do these. And then we'd all convene at the Sally Port and have a puff. Back when I was a smoker. And it was pretty relaxed. And we would do the incoming mail. And, the guy in dispatch or the gal in dispatch would go through the day's incident reports and input them. We would help them out if we really had nothing going on. So it was like a couple hours of work, and then the rest of the afternoon or evening was a break. Unless something happened, like an inmate decided to try to check out, cut a number of people down from their bunks, swinging from their blankets. But I can honestly say, not one of them, not one single suicide attempt ever fucking was successful on my watch. Never, ever, ever, never. Never, ever. And because of one, I actually got to fly in a helicopter, which was a scary incident. But we'll leave that at that. So the heat didn't really bother me because I worked overnights. That's the whole point of me even talking about this. The heat. 114 is very common in Arizona, especially the Phoenix area. And we didn't get a lot of moisture in the air except during monsoon. And it's funny because as Phoenix grew, the Phoenix area, I should say, because that extends out to like Avondale and Goodyear, and even into Buckeye now, which is far out. The more concrete and steel that gets built up, what happens is the heat radiates back up into the air, and any storm systems that come in bounce off of it and either go around or make a beeline. So you didn't get a lot of moisture out there. It was crazy, but you get used to it. You get used to it. I guess night shift is better pay too. We did get a stipend for it. It wasn't much here in Massachusetts because of the way employment laws work and unions, of course. Stipends are great. They're usually a couple dollars more, Whereas in Arizona, where it's a right to work state, and unions don't really have much clout except for legal representation should something, bad happen. Because God forbid you have to put your hands on somebody and something horrible happened where they ended up in the hospital or worst case scenario, of course, they pass on. You're going to need a really damn good lawyer. Especially if you're one of the good guys. I was one of the good guys. I really was. I hardly ever tried to put my hands on anyone. And when I did, it was done respectfully. And after it was over, I would try to sit with them. And more times than not, it would turn into we were both like, yeah, shit happens. All right. And we would bump elbows. We wouldn't fucking be best friends or anything. But, there would be a mutual respect there. We don't like each other. This ugly thing happened, but it had to happen for whatever reason. And they would be like, yeah, I was acting like a douche. And, you just did what you had to do, blah, blah, blah. So I would treat everyone with respect, even if I liked them or not. Especially if I had to put my hands on them. But God forbid, me and officer so-and-so were taking someone down and they hit their head just right. And that's it. They were called home to the good Lord. I need a fucking lawyer. And that was the only thing unions were good for in Arizona, so. But yeah, we got a few extra bucks. I also got a few extra bucks for working in that facility because it was so far out in the middle of nowhere. So it was an incentive to work there for that. So it was well worth it. Plus, and anyone who works in a prison situation, overtime is abundant. It's if you could work 16-hour shifts 5 times a week, they'd probably let you. They probably let you do it. I did 3. I did 3 a week whenever it was available until they stopped cashing us, meaning they would give it to us in vacation time, basically. But you would earn it at time and a half, which is great. But there's a reason why there was overtime, because there's not enough fucking people to let you take a fucking vacation to begin with. So it is what it is. So once they stopped fucking paying for it, I was just like, yeah, I'll do 1 or 2 here just to help out. But you start throwing money my way, I'll do. I almost had my house paid off. Almost had it paid off. Oh, well, fucking divorces. Divorces. So, okay, enough of prisons and heat talk and all that. So, back to this silly thing. I'm excited to see where it goes. Maybe not necessarily to order this one in particular. But I am. I'm excited to see where the technology goes, where it leads us. Let's see. Oh, I forgot I had that open. I was gonna play Streets of Rage today. But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. I hope it works. I genuinely hope it works. I have no doubt that the online versions of this is gonna work. But what they're claiming to do with this thing, yeah. Dudes, let's play combat on this. We need to tell them they need an Atari 2600 adapter. Or at least a 7800 adapter that'll play 2600 games. How about that? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But, can you imagine playing combat with someone in fucking Rwanda? I don't know. There was a coffee blend that I bought yesterday called Rwanda Blend, so that's why it's on my mind. But that's it. I mean, what do you guys think? You all over this? Hey, did bacon ice cream sneak in there? What's up, Rich? I'm sorry, dude. I didn't see you pop in. I might have driven past that prison once. There was 2. Oh, in Tucson? Which prison are you talking about, Crow? In Arizona, where I live, there was technically 3. There was one in Goodyear that, I'm trying to think of the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. It was a female facility where they tried to put me. Fuck that. I did overtime in a female facility once. Never doing it again. Fuck that noise. And then there were 2 facilities out in the middle of Buckeye on Route 38, I think it was. I can't remember now. It was called Miller Road. The Lewis Complex, which is an adult facility, and then across the street was this thing called Eagle Point School, or Eagle Point Juvenile Detention Facility. They started calling them schools, safe schools, to shade, I guess, the idea of it being a prison for teenagers. And I see why they were doing that, but, I mean, we had kids in there that were there for killing people. How about we just call it what it is? It is what it is, you know? You know, they may be kids, but they were kids that went the wrong way. And more times than not, it's because they were led that way, you know? When I first moved to Arizona, I wasn't unfamiliar with gang activity and all that stuff. I mean, Boston has its fair share. But moving to Arizona in the Midwest, it's a completely different animal out there. It's like legit a generational thing. It's passing the baton. Not that it isn't so much here in the East Coast, but it's more of a neighborhood thing here. And out there, it's a neighborhood thing. But it's, you know, cousins were like, yeah, I'm going across the street to Lewis because that's where my uncle is. They had no qualms in talking about that. That was like a rite of passage. They knew what their future was supposed to be according to their culture, meaning the gang culture, not their nationality or anything. Because obviously in Arizona, the majority of them were Hispanic. And delving into the gang community, I didn't work any gang units or anything like that, but researching it was just so fascinating how old some of these gangs were and how together they were. And you know, you see these 12, 13, 14-year-old kids with their fucking badges already and stuff. And I'm just like, it makes me sad. But it is what it is. You know, that's their reality. And who am I to judge? It's just fucked up that kids have to grow up like that, you know? I don't think they have to, but it is what it is. I'm not any fucking social philosopher. I don't have education in any of that. I just have experience under my belt, and I can come up with my own theories, and it is what it is. So I guess we're going to talk about prisons today. I guess that's the open chat. We're going to talk about prisons. All right, so Crow says, I don't know. I drove through Arizona. It was like in the middle of the state, in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's a lot of Arizona. When you were anywhere near I-40. Because if you were anywhere near I-40, you probably drove by that complex. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a female one in Goodyear. On the opposite side is a famous dog track that never got opened. That they filmed a few movies in. They blew it up a few times. But urban explorers used to like to go to it all the time. And they would instantly get kicked out because it's privately owned. They got security all over the joint. Ooh, there's a big mail truck here. I wonder if I'm getting a package. Who wants to give me their package? I have to look it up on the map now. That's fine, dude. Nah, no stress, no stress. I lost a sign saying not to pick up hitchhikers. Yeah. Yeah, that's that's the real deal. Especially, okay, so I say in the middle of nowhere. The one I just said that was a female facility was off of I-10. You could see it through I-10. And yes, it was really rural on that section of road. But before you got to that one and just after it, there was civilization. Now, when I say the Lewis Complex and Eagle Point School for Boys, I guess we'll call it now, if you do a Google search of that, dude, it was so out of the way that we had to have our own fire department, okay, in case something happened. They had their own fire department on site in the event something happened. It was in the middle of no motherfucking where. For real. No joke. No joke. I lived... Try to picture... Let me go back into streaming. Let me go back into my streaming thing here. My chat box. Try to picture a circle. Okay? The facilities were way over here. I lived right about here. So it would have been like maybe a 10-minute drive if I could go through the fucking desert. But I ended up having to go like this to get there because it was so in the middle of okay. So I was known as the goof guy. I was the one that people, I would do and say crazy things all the time. And maybe in some cases they weren't probably the coolest things to say or do. But I got lucky in that people understood my personality and they understood that I was an East Coast guy. So they kind of let a lot of it slide. So a lot of times, like new staff or whatever, new boots would come in. And it would be like, whenever I would, come into the room. And more times than not, to be like, that's just him. Just let it go. We just all got to get used to it or whatever, So I would say things that people would think I was serious a lot of times. So we got a new facility director. And this is when I worked across the street in the juvenile department now. And he was a really nice guy. Now, mind you, there was a smaller facility behind Eagle Point called Sunrise. And that was a PV center, a parole violator center. That place we were rocking and rolling all the time. And that's where I started with the Arizona Department of Juvenile and Adult Corrections. So it was literally in the back of the middle of nowhere. But I said to the director, and he did something different. He would come on the overnights once a month to hang out with us because, during the days, they get to see most of the staff, especially in the afternoon or in the mornings as well. But they didn't see us too often. So he would actually come and hang out with each unit once a month just to, hey, do you have everything you need? Is everything going on? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Can I come with you on your routines? And, he was checking in on us and he was checking in on the facility and he wanted to make sure everything was safe and everyone was happy and it is what it is. And once in a while he'd sit down and watch a horror flick with us. His favorite was Maniac. He loved Maniac. So, I'm going to guess it was near Winslow. Oh, so that's upstate. That's north. That's north. That was nowhere near me. I was down right there on the I-40. So he was like, so, where do you live? And I told him, I said, I live in Rainbow Valley. He's like, yeah, I'm new to Arizona. I'm like, it's literally like 3 miles that way. And he's like, oh, wow, you're that close? I'm like, yeah, but I have to go around the world to get here. And he's like, oh, so your mileage is what got you the stipend because you had to live or travel so far to get the stipend. But since I technically lived 3 miles, I almost didn't get it. But I had to show him I had to drive so many miles to get to work. It was fucking stupid. But getting to the point. One day, I was looking at this one little area. And I looked at it and I said, hey, we don't use this area for anything. It was behind the admin building. So what would it take? I mean, you guys have the carpool lane out there. You have a motorcycle lane out there. Could I get a small helipad over here? And he looked at me. He's like, why? I said, well, it's my hobby. I built this little, it's basically a bubble one-man helicopter thing, right? I said, it would take me 2 minutes to get to work, especially if something was going on. I'm willing to help out. I'll get here as quick as possible. And he's like, oh. And I'm fucking with the guy. I'm not fucking going to build a helicopter, nor am I even going to try to fly one. Are you kidding me? He comes back to me like 3 weeks later. He's like, I spoke downtown about that. And we just can't really come up with the funds to build you a helipad. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? You have a degree in what, dumbass? You're in charge of me? I said, I don't fucking have a helicopter. I mean, I guess it's a logical thing that someone would, but yeah, he took it serious. He was like, yeah, I'm going to look into that. He did. He brought it up downtown. They had a vote. They had a fucking... Imagine if they said, yeah, you know what? Let's do that. He built a helipad. Now what do I got to do? Do I really have to fucking become a hobbyist helicopter guy? Let's see. Hey, Creep. Start a second channel on your prison experience. I don't want to. I thought about it. And you know what made me think about it? Is you have all these fucking inmates who come out of federal prison and stuff. There's one in particular I'm thinking of who I really don't like. And I'll tell you why here in a second. Of course I will, right? And they talk about their experience on their side, which is fine. It's fine, I have no, again, qualms about anything. But this one guy's biggest thing is he talks about there are no bad people. There are just bad decisions, okay? And to an extent, I kind of agree with that. But then he talked about, in the same fucking video, I mean, he's always talking about there's no bad people, just people making bad decisions. And for the majority of it, yeah, that's what prison is. A bunch of fucking idiots who made a bad choice. Let me take that back. Not a bunch of idiots. I'll take that back. You guys can, down in the comments, scold me for saying that. That was negative, and I don't appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of people don't appreciate it, especially if you've done time. It's not an easy thing to do. But then he was talking about this guy, and I don't disagree with him, who was a fucking Skinner. He was a diddler. I don't want to say the word, but he had a propensity to enjoy younger people. We'll just say that. And he kept talking about how he was in charge of papers. Now, when you're in there, there's a hierarchy within the prison life itself, within the inmates. And there are some that are the roosters, and then there are the little bitches down below and everything in between, Think of it like a chess table, okay? You have your pawns, those are usually the bitches, and then you have, you get the idea. But what they would do is they would be on paper duty, meaning whenever you were new, you were found out. They want to know what the fuck my neighbor did to get in here. And if you were good or bad, If you're just some dickhead who likes to rob fucking Chinese restaurants, whatever. But particularly if you victimized women and or children, you were looked at as a complete lower class, as you should be. Especially children. Especially children. So he talked about how they would lure like this one guy over to this one section, and they would just chat with them, having a cigarette or whatever, and then someone above him would drop one of those floor buffing machines on top of him. And he would say stuff like, yeah, he's no good, we got to take care of that, he's no good. But then at the end of the video, he would say, there's no bad people, just bad decisions. And it's like, yeah, I guess everyone's a hypocrite in their own way, but I can't respect that. I can't respect that at all. Either there's no bad people, or there are some bad people. And that's just how I look at it. Let's see. Ever watch After Prison Show? That ex-con Joe? No. I don't really watch a lot of that. And I can't remember the guy's name who I'm talking about. No disrespect to him. I mean, he was in federal pen for a long time for a lot of things. I mean, that guy, he passed around a lot of money. A lot of money doing what he did. And, all the better for him for turning it into a positive thing, relating his experience. And he's using it to survive. And it's great. I'm glad to see that happen. But I just can't stand the hypocrisy of saying there's no bad people when he literally just told a story about this guy's bad. He said those words. He's no good. Those were the words he used. And then they dropped the floor buffer on him. Can you imagine a floor buffer hitting you from any height? And this was like a tier or two up. God damn. Thank God I didn't work in too many facilities that had tiers. For real. I mean, in Arizona, they're all fucking single floor pods. Boom. Done. I mean, there were a couple of towers, but not a big deal. All right, let's see. What else is going on? Anyone have anything they want to yip yap about? I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to get rid of this. Because I'm done talking about that video game thing. I'm done talking about it. I think it's a nifty idea, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm more excited about what it could bring to the future of retro gaming, and not so much for the individual product itself. If I find one cheap used, of course I will grab that, or if they periodically drop them for sale, I'll try to grab one that way. So, we're almost at 11 here. Let's see. How long have I been fucking streaming for? How long have I? Almost an hour. So, I think I'm going to cut it. I think I'm going to cut it short there. Unless somebody has something that they want to discuss. But aside from that, thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. Looking forward to a lot of really cool stuff here in the future. I mean, this Pie Packer, what the fuck kind of name is that? It's tough to say. It's tough to say. Not the words themselves, but it's just a couple of words that should not be. I don't think they should be together, but it stands out, right? Oh, excuse me. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna go make myself lunch and get ready for my afternoon shifts and everything. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning, guys. I'm really enjoying these chats. I'm glad I decided to do this more often. if there's any topics you guys want to cover, if you just like the openness of this, like today we talked about prison. We talked about prison. Thanks. I might have to have a hot dog for lunch or dinner. Go get yourself a couple of all beef natural casing. Doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a. Oh my God, why can't I think of the name of the biggest brand of Chicago hot dogs ever? Vienna. It doesn't have to be Vienna. As a matter of fact, the family that started Vienna doesn't exist anymore as far as in the company. But some of the family branched out, and there's this one guy who's like a direct member of the Vienna family. Came out with this thing called Red Hot Chicago Dogs, which tastes a little bit. I like them. I love them. I love them the best. There's only Chicago dogs around here. Oh, perfect. There you go. It's all a good way to start the day. Yeah, I appreciate that, Videodrome. I really do appreciate you thinking that. That's makes me feel better about what I'm doing here. In a way, I mean, I kind of feel like it's a time waster, but if you genuinely enjoy it, and I know I enjoy it, it is what it is. I don't really have much to show you as far as 3D printing, except for this Frankenstein Lego creature guy I came up with. That is not a mustache. It is not Theodore Roosevelt. That is his bottom lip. Let me see if I can get in there. You can see one of his tusks. Yeah, you can't see it. But yeah. Portillo's. Yeah, Portillo's. I've never been to one. But if you go to Portillo's, have a sausage beef combo. Extra wet. With both sweet and hot peppers. Guys, I hope you have a great Wednesday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I really have nothing planned for videos this week. So hopefully, I don't know, I'll think of a game. I'll think of a game to play or something, and then we'll get back on things. Hopefully things will come back to normal, especially with Mom and all that. We're not going to talk about that today. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon, your morning, or whatever it is that you're doing. Enjoy a couple of hot dogs. And if you don't like hot dogs, fine, whatever. Go enjoy whatever it is you're stuffing your cake hole. And I hope you're doing well. And until next time, take care. Keep it real. Don't forget to donate to the Alzheimer's Association. Link is down below.